Hi there, I'm Rebecca and a really warm welcome back to my channel, PumpkinBecki. In this week's video we're going to try using a little bit of this on that. Let's get started. When I did my video a couple of weeks ago where I was answering a viewer's question, I was actually working on this tree. It's my wild olive, or Olea sylvestris, and I was doing a summer prune on it, and I noticed that the deadwood was starting to look really mucky. This is supposed to be a really lovely creamy white colour that stands out from the rest of the trunk, and yeah, looks like pretty deadwood. I haven't done anything with it since I bought the tree about 3 years ago, so it's hands up my fault that it's reverting back to a more realistic natural colour. What I do know is that the answer is lime sulphur. I've just never used it ever on a tree or ever. Everything I've read says do not use it in an enclosed space, don't try and drink it, don't try and anything it. Pour out a tiny bit into a different receptacle and paint it onto the tree. Ideally the deadwood will be wet, so I'm going to give it a spray with water first, and don't inhale it. Wear eye protection and gloves. Let's do something about that. I don't actually have any eye protection, so I'm just going to have to be incredibly careful. But I have got my gloves, which if you used to watch Warehouse 13, thank you, these are my favourite kind of gloves. I've got myself a bottle cap, which I can decant a tiny bit of that into. But first things first is to give the deadwood a spray down with some water. So there's the livid colour lime sulphur and a paintbrush, and I'm going to work from the top down. I could probably use a bigger paintbrush than this, but whew, it is the first time I've done it. Yeah, I just got a waft of egg then. A little bit of this dripping down onto the soil won't cause a problem. But I'm going to try and avoid getting it onto anything that I don't want to lighten. You can see it's already doing something. What? I'm not sure. If I don't hit all of it today, and I miss a bit, I can come back and do it again. And I understand that once it's dried, the eggy smell goes away. So as it's gone quite overcast, that means it's going to help this stay wet for a bit longer and therefore dry a bit slower, which should give us the effect we're looking for. Here's hoping. I've just popped up another tree for us to have a look at. This is a Juniperus rigida. And in all honesty, I am not great with these sorts of evergreens. I've let it grow all on its own for several years. We bought it as a seedling starter tree from Ken at Windybank Bonsai Nursery. And I literally did nothing to it. And then earlier this year I thought, right, I'm going to do something with it, because it was a tree in a pot. It wasn't doing anything useful. So I went ahead and I pruned it, and because I'm not confident with juniper, I did it off camera. And I also thought, while I'm about it, because I took quite a chunk off the top, I actually sort of broke that away and turned that into a bit of a gin or a shari or something. Sorry, I'm not very good with deadwood. And then I continued to strip the bark down the tree a little bit, just to see if I could try and do something myself. I mean, I think this tree cost us less than a £5, because I had bought my big Chinese quince, and I think I bought something else at the same time. Ken almost sort of threw this in for free, but my husband really wanted it, so yeah, fine, okay. I'll attempt not to kill it. How about that? It hasn't appreciated being pruned, because I've got lots of bits that don't look at all happy, but as I say, juniper are not my forte. But let's have a look at that deadwood and see if we can help to start whitening that. So it's just going to be the same process. I've wet it down, now it's time to paint on the lime sulphur. Not being deliberately stupid about this. Deadwood, junipers, evergreens, coniferous evergreens was never something I particularly wanted to do when I got back into bonsai. I wanted to do deciduous trees. So yeah, I literally have no idea what I'm doing here, but I know that the lime sulphur will help to protect the deadwood as well as keep it whitened. seemed to have a little bit of runoff there from where it had been pooling in the bark, and then it had run off down the rest of the trunk. So just giving that another squirt off just to sort of flush that through. So there's definitely a different greyness to this deadwood section now. I think I'm just going to have to keep an eye on it, and if I think it needs another application, I can do that. I've got plenty of lime sulphur after all. This section on the back obviously didn't get as much of the lime sulphur as the rest, but I think everything else looks pretty good. Now this juniper really clearly hasn't enjoyed what I've done to it, but it hasn't died yet, so I'm just going to keep experimenting with it. And the area of trunk where I stripped out the deadwood has started to whiten really nicely. So let's just see what next year brings for this little tree. Right, well that's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, share and subscribe to me here on YouTube. And until next time, bye!